Welcome to Empower You Crown Up, where we believe in empowering minds to live empowered lives. And so we are so excited today. We have a very special guest. And without further ado, we're going to bring her to the stage. And also, if you haven't started following me, make sure you go to all social media platforms at Empower, the letter U, underscore crown up. So, without further ado, let's bring Dr. Bradford to the stage. Hi, Dr. Bradford. How are you?
Whoa, how are you? Thank you so much for the opportunity to be here.
You are so welcome. I'm just really grateful to have you. And also knowing that you are in Texas with me, I'm like, yes.
Yes.
Awesome. Well, tell us about yourself and who you are and just all of that.
Well, I am originally from Austin, Texas, and you know what they say about Austin, keep Austin weird. So I'm a little bit different. I am the mother of three amazing children. My oldest is a teacher, a graduate from Hampton University. My
Okay.
son graduated from Angelo State. He's working on his master's in his last football season, and my baby attends the University of North Texas. So,
Okay.
proud mother, wife. I'm an author. I worked in the field of education for 2 decades now. I've been a teacher. I've been an assistant principal, a campus principal, and my career actually started on the college campus where I served as a professor, a director of programs, assistant dean, and my last position was vice president of student services.
Oh wow, you have done so much. Like first I want to give a shout out for all of your babies, but UNC, that's my alma mater. That's
All
me
right.
dream. That's where I graduated from. And so that is just amazing. And you really don't get to meet too many people who are understanding like the field of education, but also the admin side of it. Because I taught as well. I taught middle school math. I did that
Mhm.
for 5 years. And
All
then
right.
also, being a school counselor, I had no idea in elementary that you're also admin. And
Yes.
so that was a lot for me, but it brought out so many qualities in myself of knowing that I am a leader and, so many people are looking to you to make these decisions and you got to make them on the fly. You
That's
don't
right.
always get a chance to let me go look at the dynamics of everything and all of that. And just, having three children, I know that is a lot because I have four. So
All
one
right.
girl, three boys. And so it's always something, right? As a mother, you never
Yes.
get a break. But even when they become grown up. So I think that we were so like grown up, like, oh, once your kids turn 18, that's that. But that's
Hmm.
not true.
Not at all. No. Yes.
Yes.
The memories continue on, the fun times, and I'm always happy when they're home.
Yes. Oh, now tell us about that. I heard you say that your career started like when you were in the college setting. So is that what led you to maintain the flame and all of that?
Well, I honestly believe maintaining the flame was something that was placed inside of me many years ago.
Okay.
I'm a very big advocate for the underdog. I've also, when going through school, I was the underdog at times. I wasn't the smartest kid in the class. I didn't do the work the fastest, but I was very persistent. And I believe maintain the flame is very important for us to always remember, no matter what's going on, we have to find the positive in the situation and continue to push through. But my source of inspiration in education has always been my energy and enthusiasm comes from my students because our kids are going through so much right now. And so they inspire me to give my best 110% to make sure that I'm showing up authentically for them every single day so that I can keep them inspired. But that's a little bit about maintain the flame. My goal is just to help ignite change in others and know that they have that potential so that they can design the life that they desire.
Yes. And you just brought up so many great points in what you just said because, you're reminding me of when I was in the classroom. And you have to put your things to the side because regardless of what we're dealing with, we have to, they're depending on us to show up. And I realized that, they really need us in so many ways. And it felt like when you are wearing that hat as a teacher, you're also wearing so many other hats as well.
Yes.
And that is the hard piece of letting them know that, okay, outside of these four walls, you can be anything that you desire to be. And sometimes it becomes draining. You have to teach these teach, you have to do these things.
Mhm.
And when I realized that one thing I can't teach is motivation. And
Yes.
so you have to really connect with them on so many
Mhm.
levels. Like I'll never forget one year I was teaching and I said, hey, it was about finances. I was talking about debit cards. And it was like somebody raised their hand was like, Miss, we all know what that is. What about that EBT card though?
Oh.
Everybody, yeah. I was like, okay, this is the book, but this is
Mhm.
not their reality. So
That's
I
right.
gotta get to the reality.
Mhm.
And when we got to it, and I was like, hey, when I was, teaching eighth grade, and one point they was, doing their little thing, and I was like, look, I don't care what you become, but
That's
even if let's say you're a drug dealer, you still gotta know how to count your money. And they're like,
right.
yeah, miss, you right. I gotta know. Cause I said then everybody gonna be coming to you giving away stuff.
Uh-huh. Yes.
And so being able to meet people where they are, but then I realized even with adults, being in that mental health field, getting
Mhm.
people to see the positive. And so one thing I talk to a lot of my clients about now is, hey, there's two types of people. There's people who want to talk about what they're going through so they can get a solution. And there's
Mhm.
people who just want to talk and they have no intent for a solution. They just want to be heard. And so which one are you? And when you put it like that, people are like, well, I don't want to be the person that just talks. Well, then what action are you going
That's
to
right.
take so
Mhm.
you can get to the next level?
That's powerful. And that's what's needed for our teachers. Our teachers give so much. And as an educator, my heart goes out to teachers. And knowing how to set healthy boundaries
Oh,
is
yeah,
very important because we put our students before our own selves and before our own families a
that's
lot of the
right.
times. And so it's very important when working with educators that we instill in them the importance of you have to set a time. I'm not going to look at emails. I'm not going to reply. I'm going to spend this time with my family because
Mm,
we don't want to be in a position where we're spending and putting all our time and efforts in someone else's child and our child is going by on the wayside. So making sure you have that healthy balance, making sure you know how to set those boundaries and making sure that you stand up for what's right. That integrity piece is huge. There's a
mm.
lot that go on in schools that people are really unaware of.
Yes. And that's why educators, it's like you a light bulb goes off when you get to see other educators. You're like, you feel my pain. You know what I've
Yes,
been
yes.
through.
Yes.
It's so much. And then don't be a leader. Like at one point I was a department chair and it was so much. And honestly, I felt like I was so young to be in that role.
Mhm.
But I realized that God was getting me ready for something greater. And I even had an educator come to me and was like, what you gonna teach us? Because you look like you.
Uh-huh. Yes, that's
And I'm
right.
like, I have a lot. I have a
Yes.
lot that I know. But they really, it pushed me and inspired me because it's just like, yes, you're being met with so much opposition, but then
Mhm.
that doesn't mean you're on the wrong track. That just means that you have to be prepared and you have to fight harder.
That's right.
And that's what life is about.
Mhm.
Things are not just given to us.
No. And that's why I focus on when working with individuals one on one, the maintain acronym and letting them know that these are 8 strategies that you can use to make a positive impact and a positive change in your life. Like you said, if that's you either want to come in here and talk or you actually want to come up with some steps to make a change.
Yes.
So when we talk about maintain, the M is for your mindset. You can have
Okay.
that fixed mindset that I'm not going to do anything. This is the way we've been doing it. And like you said, I've been a supervisor. I think in my late 20s, I started. And it was very difficult for the people that I worked with because you're so young. And even at the time, I was an adjunct teacher. And I remember sitting in the class and the kids came in and I don't know where this woman is, but we got to leave because she's late. And I waited till it was time for class to start. And I got up and I wrote my name on the board and they were sliding down their seats like, oh, no, we didn't. Oh, I didn't know that was her. But that mindset, you can grow at all times. So you either have that growth mindset or the fixed mindset.
That's
The
right.
next one is A, taking action.
Mm.
We can talk all day about everything and
Mhm.
accomplish nothing, but you have to be willing to take action steps. And so instead of saying, well, I gave all that money I saved up to my parents to help them out, or I did want to get my degree, but it's too late, you can take baby steps every single day to get you closer to your goal.
That's
Then the
right.
next letter is I, being intentional with the life that you want to live. You have
Yeah.
to set goals for yourself. This is what I want to accomplish. And once you set those goals, you write it down, write the vision, make it plain. You're being intentional on the way that you're going to attack those goals. Then the next one is T, for being tenacious. You have
Yeah.
to be tenacious with the life that you have, that vigor, and you have to be committed to it. The next A is being authentic, and that is huge. So many times we show up to life and we allow our situations and our circumstances to just chip away at us, and we're not truly showing up to be the person that we want. We're trying to fit in and conform a little bit too much. Then the next letter is I, having that integrity.
Mm.
And as you know, in our society today, that is very huge, because right now anything goes. No one's going to speak up about it. No one's going to say anything. And I talk a little bit about that in my new book, My Soul Is Not for Sale, when I talk
Right.
about you getting that hush money. And when I say hush money, people think about other things in the society. But sometimes making sure that we get that paycheck on the 1st and the 15th, that'll make you be quiet. So I'm not
Mm.
going to speak up because I need my job. I need to pay my bills. And so you push aside your morals and your values and your integrity. And then
Mm.
the last letter is N, non negotiables. Set those
Yes.
healthy boundaries, set your standards, and come up with your non negotiables in life so that you can live a life with no regrets.
Yes, I love all of that. Like amazing, amazing.
Thank
And
you.
one thing kind of comes to mind. I love everything that you said, everything that your business stands for. But authenticity, I
Mm,
feel like it's so hard for people because especially when you get in those leadership roles, because you
yes,
feel like I have to have it together because people are following me.
yes,
But reality of it is people really don't want to follow you unless they know that you've been through some things. And
that's right.
so, how do you help people to be more authentic without the fear of, people being so judgmental and
Mhm.
critical? Because the reality of it is, everybody has their own stuff that they do.
Yes. Yes. And I think for me, the most important part, number one, me as an individual and as a leader, I've been fortunate to serve in those roles. I've always wanted to be different. I never wanted to blend in with anyone, because if I'm blending in, to me, I'm doing something wrong. So I
Mm.
have to do something that sets me apart. And I think when I connect with individuals, number one, you have to be real in every situation. Just because people are looking at you, people are looking for you to fail. People are looking for your flaws because they don't have their stuff together. So it
Right.
doesn't matter about their opinions. It's just that. That is your opinion. You're welcome to it, but I don't have time to entertain it because I'm too busy trying to get to the next place for me. And I think that's what we need to learn as leaders. You put a lot of the stress on yourself. Like in the book, I talk about the removing the lies, the labels, and the limitations.
Ooh, that's
Limitations are
good.
not always someone else. Sometimes you're limiting yourself with your beliefs. So you have to walk in that room. You have to know that I was placed in this position for a reason. I'm going to lead to the best of my ability. If I falter, if I make a mistake, I am human. And
That's right.
I should be able to do that, but I'm going to learn from it. I'm going to recover and I'm going to be better for it. But for individuals that's in that position, you got to remove that undue stress about what would my supervisor think, or what do the people under me think. You have to be okay with yourself. It's okay to listen to the opinions. You need to
Mhm.
be take in what you think is positive, something that you'll need, and also take in the information to help you grow to be a
That's
better
right.
leader. But at the end of the day, you know what's best for your life. You know where you're trying to go in your journey, and you can't let anything or anyone keep you from that.
Yes. And I love that because that means in order to have that mindset, you have to believe.
That's
And
right.
you have to see that you are bigger than, like you said, showing up on the getting paid on the first and the
Mhm.
15th. You have to believe that God has so much more in store for you. And that's the thing, because we've all been in positions where some people are content with,
Mhm.
literally showing up, being in the call center, or showing up to, work at the grocery store, whatever. And we all need those
Oh
people
yeah.
that are, do
Mhm.
that. But when you know that you are called for something so much greater, it's like you can't, it's like fire burning. You
That's
can't
it.
just be still. You
That's
can't
right.
just settle for here. And
Hmm.
that's why your career has been like, okay, I'm in the classroom. How do I get out the classroom? Okay. And now
Hmm.
I'm out of the classroom. How do I get here? Because you're always looking for the next thing.
Yeah.
And I love that. I love
Yes.
that. And I feel like that's how you really get to grow. But in order to do that, you have to, like you said, have that growth mindset. Because if you're
Mhm.
fixed, like, oh, this is it, this is all I have, then that's what you're going to have.
Mhm.
And so I've been learning more about tapping into your subconscious mind. And we
That's
don't
right.
realize how powerful our mind is. So we
Yes.
believe that we will never be successful, then guess what? You will never be successful.
You're right. Yes. And that's the power of the mind, like you talked about. And so those are those limitations that we put on ourselves. Sometimes it's not they don't want me in this position or they don't want to see me do good. Is it really the other people or is it
Mm,
you? Are you
mm,
holding yourself back? And what have you
mm.
done to prepare yourself for that role? Are you taking other classes? Are you volunteering for opportunities? Are
That's right.
you just believing that they need to come to me because I'm the individual in the building with all the knowledge? And I've been there. And it's difficult because you sometimes end up in situations where you have individuals that I've been here so many years, I know it all, and this is the way we've been doing it. But are you getting results? Or do the kids feel supported? Do kids
Right.
and families feel seen and heard? Those are important when you're working in the system on any job. But like you said, we need individuals on every level. And even with my children, I've always told them, I don't care. I'm not saying you need to be a doctor, a lawyer, any of that,
That's right.
because you have to pay your bills. But
Mm,
what I want you to be at the end of the day is happy
that's
and
right.
authentic. And if you're not happy and authentic, then what are you doing each and
Mm,
every day?
mm. You're right. And that goes to, one thing I tell my clients a lot. If we keep doing the same thing, we're going to keep getting the same results.
That's
And
right.
that's why you'll wake up and 10 years in, you're still at the same position, or you're still in the same relationship, or you're still doing the same things, because you're doing the same thing every day. You desire change, but you never put that A in, like
That's
you're
right. That's
that action. Okay.
yes. Yeah.
Yeah, so I love the title of your book. You said "My Soul is Not for Sale." I
That's
love that. So
yeah.
tell us, how did you come up with that title, and where can people go and buy your book and just connect with you?
Well, now I've had that title for years and I don't know why. It's just been on the inside. And so finally I was like, let me sit down and I really want to put, and I think it was also because of my experiences, because I kept wondering, and I now I know why God put that inside of me, because I kept running into a brick wall here, or I would say, I don't fit here. And that goes back to maintain the flame, because in life we have this excitement and vigor and we're just young. I don't care if people see me dancing in the store.
That's
Then
right.
we become adults and we're like, wait a minute, they're looking at me, or they're not doing this, or that people are going to think I look weird if I wear this in the office. And we start to conform and we start to sell off parts of ourselves and we're chipping away and we look in that mirror and we're like, is this really who I want to be? And is
Mhm.
this the job really what I want to do? I'm meeting the expectations of everybody else but myself. And
Mm,
so we start to sell out. And we know we've talked about that. We got the code switching in the buildings. And we also have in our subconscious, our biases. And
right.
we think that, oh, I don't have any biases. I just deal with that on the weekends. But you have to be honest with yourself. The music that you listen to, the people
Everything.
that you surround yourself around, the way that you conduct yourself on Saturday and Sunday, do you honestly think before you walk in that building, you shed all of that and you say, I'm going to leave my beliefs at the door and I'm going to go in here and conduct business? That's not the way that we do it. So that affects who gets promoted, that affects who we interact with, and those people with in that integrity and want to stand up. Nobody wants to deal with them. You become invisible because you're rocking the boat too much. Why are you saying that? But then in the break room, you saying, I know that's right. I was
Right.
same thing. I can't believe you telling them that, but you're afraid to voice the opinion that
Right.
you know is right and stand for what's right. So it's talking about our biases that we have, biases in the building. It talks
Mhm.
about ways to deal with, and I call them L kids, little kids in big bodies. Those are
Mhm.
adults with issues, those bullies in our workplace, those bullies in our lives that never got their issues together and they're
Mm.
still carrying it into the workplace. How do you work with people like that? Those narcissistic people. And it gives you strategies and takeaways. It talks about
Right.
the flush method. My sister always taught me in life, you're going to have situations. So, flush stands for face life's unpleasant situations and
Mm.
heal. And
Yeah.
that's what you need to do in order to be able to move on. So, my soul is not for sale, is telling you to hold on to your integrity, stand for what's right, and not always be so quick to conform and fit in, but do what serves you the most. And so my book
Yeah.
is going to be on my website. It's going to be available on Amazon and Barnes and Noble. It will be available and the second week in August. And I'll be going around and doing book tours, hopefully in different states to get the message out because I think more people need to know the importance of
Yeah.
holding on to your integrity.
Yes, I love that. Super, super amazing. So,
Thank you.
I think this is really, really good. And so, as we come to a close, how do you, or what would you say are some words of empowerment that you would give to our listeners today, as they
Well,
reach out to connect with
mhm.
you, but also how they can continue to be empowered and how that would look to work with you?
Well, most importantly, we've got to go back to that young person. And, you know, we need to find out where that individual is, that young girl, that young boy with that excitement for life. And we need to revisit those goals and dreams that we had when we were
Mm,
younger. We pour into so many people, but we forget about ourselves. Tap into that younger person. Remember those goals and dreams that you had. Ignite that fire, reignite that fire, and protect it with your life and know that there is more to my life. So I'm not just a title. I'm
mm,
not a position. There's more to me. I have creative skills. There are things I want to do with my life. And you have to get outside of the box that sometimes you put yourself in and
mm.
go after your dreams. And so, who cares if there are a million podcasts? Who cares if there are 20 franchises out there? Yours can be unique and yours can be different. So, believe in yourself more than you believe in everybody else. You're believing the lies that they're telling you, but you're
Right.
not believing in the truth that resides in yourself. And so I have a 10-week program that talks about maintain the flame. I'm your advocate, I'm your cheerleader, and I'm also the individual that's going to hold you accountable. And they can always reach out at the website, invite me to speak at any of your programs, but most importantly, live an audaciously authentic life. I saw a program the other day I was watching, and the young lady talked about her dad, and he told her, live full and die empty. And that's
Mm.
my last message to everyone. Live full so that
That's
you have a
right.
life of no regrets.
Yes, I love that. That reminds me of something I was reading, and he talked about making sure that every day, how can we live where we are living and being patient with others? And so, one thing he talked about is if you were, imagine yourself in a casket. If you're in a casket right now today, would you have any regrets? And the
Mhm.
answer for many is yes. You know, you gave this time to your job and you didn't give it to your family
That's right.
or whatever that is. You know, we
Mhm.
do so many things because we're like, okay, I need to, get this done. But what about our loved ones? We're
That's
not
right.
spending time with them. Or sometimes people go at things with, oh, I have later, but you don't know that you have
You
later.
don't? No, no. Yes, and the greatest example for me that I share with people, and I believe you go through things in life to help others. I'm the youngest of six kids, the first and only out of my family to go to college. But my sister, right before me, was 48 years old, and we were taught just get a good job with the state and retire. Well, she was 48. She retired. She was planning for her 50th birthday, and she never made it. But this was a woman that lived life to her fullest and she enjoyed every moment. And so I say that to say People think we have forever, or I can do that later on, but later on may never come. So you have to take advantage now. And you may be at work and you're giving your heart and soul to that job, but as soon as something happens to you, you're
Woo.
replaced in a number of days. And you may say, oh, I'm sorry, baby, I missed your football game. That's the world to your child. And those moments and those memories, they will never forget. But the job, they won't even remember that you stayed late. That project is gone and past. But
That's
we
right.
need to set our priorities in our lives and find out what's most important.
That's right. Oh, I love it. I love it. Well, next season we'll be talking about relationships. So, you are perfect for that. How to have that authentic relationship with yourself, because really you can't have a relationship with anyone else if you don't have a good relationship with yourself.
That's right.
So, I would love to have you back on for future
Hey,
episodes, but
okay,
I appreciate everything that you came on here and talked about. Audience, those of you guys listening, make sure you go to maintaintheflame.net and connect with Dr. Bradford, because it is time now to really be the best version of yourself. And how can you do that? You can't do it alone. And that's what we're realizing. We have to reach out, find our tribe, find people that we connect with, and reach out, work with them, be authentic so you
that's
can
right.
really truly grow. So thank you for being on
Thank
the show
you. I
today.
appreciate it. Yes.